Hi Shepherd's Pie, greetings from the Philippines. Welcome back to the channel. For what are we doing today?
Our cost of living video.
And we know some of you love those, but we know some of you hate them. So if you're one of the ones that hates them, what do?
Skip the video.
Skip the video, there you go, she's got it. Right now, we're going to give you the figures first. So if that's all you're interested in, we'll start off with the facts and figures and then you can end the video. And then we'll give you a few observations at the end. So, I have my lovely assistant here. Oh no, I don't, it's Ellen. Right, so we'll start with our set costs.
Yes.
So what are we going to start with?
As always, the rent. House rent, which is 15,000 pesos.
15,000 pesos is our house rent. For that we get a little palace in Bacong. Well, it's not really a palace. It's a 2-bedroom house. We might actually put a video in the link to the house in case anyone's interested where we live, because we did a video on that a few months ago. So that's 15,000 pesos. And what is that in dollars, my lovely? US dollars?
It's 259.
And what is it in Great British pounds?
205.
205. So that's our house rent. Doesn't change. I say it's a 2-bedroom house in Bacong. We're not far from DUMAGUETE. Not much more we can say about that. What's our next cost?
Our next cost is electricity.
And
this month we've got 2,200.
2,200 pesos. And what is that in US dollars?
$38.
What is that in British sterling?
30.
30. I've rounded some of these off. There was no point doing like the £30 and 5 pence or, you know, $20 and 25 cents. So we have rounded these off, so they're not exact figures. That changes, doesn't it?
It changes.
It goes up and down. If it was left to Ellen, my God, it would be about 12,000. She'd have the windows open, the aircon and that. But I'm a hard taskmaster. I just run around the house saying, switch that light off, switch that aircon off. And that's what keeps it low. Now, is that true?
Yeah, it is true.
No, it's not true. Absolute nonsense. Well, it's true that she'd get it up to 12,000.
Oh.
But it's not true that I moan about switching it off.
Oh, it's true. Sometimes.
I'm the one who leaves the outside lights on at night and you always say switch them off. Good Lord, woman.
Okay, so the next one is water, which is also fixed. It's always 50 every month.
50 cents. But it's not, sorry, 50 pesos.
50 pesos.
Which is what in US dollars?
86 cents.
And what is that in British pounds?
68 pence.
Pence? 68 pence?
Yeah.
Right. So it's not even a dollar, not even a pound. But that's not the real bill, is it?
Sorry.
Oops, she's dropped her book. Yeah, that's not actually the real water bill, because we have a meter on our water pump, water supply. And what they do is, they seem to come around once every 6 months.
Yeah.
And then they'll do the readings. So they just charge you the blanket 50 pesos, and then every 6 months or whatever, you'll have a nasty shock because your bill will have jumped. But it didn't jump much. How much was it the last time we paid it?
400 plus something.
I think it was about 460 pesos. So
it's less than, oh, I don't know.
Yeah, so it's less than, 150 pesos a month, even when you get the meter readings. Okay, what have we got next?
Next is the internet, which is 1,599 pesos.
1,599 pesos, and what is that in US dollars?
5 and 17 cents. $5.17.
I thought we were rounding them off. Okay, what is it? What is it in British
Well,
pounds?
I'm just following what you've written here.
See, I did the calculations today. That's why they're spot on. I usually let Ellen do it, but she gets it all mixed up and. Right.
In pounds, in 4 pounds.
4 pounds exactly, because we're rounding it off. No, that's not right. We're talking about what are we talking about? You're talking about you skipped the phone. We're going to go back. What? Right.
I do apologize.
Okay, so it's,
yeah, so it's not $5.17, but it's 28 US dollars, and in pounds that is 22.
Yeah, so just to clarify, our internet is $15.99 in pesos, it's 28 in US dollars, and it's 22 in British pounds, and that's with Phil Fibre and Phil products. And what do we get for that?
100 Mbps.
I ask Ellen to do that because I can never remember the Mbps business. Megabytes per second. The reason there was some confusion there is Ellen, in her wonder, in her excitement,
I can never get it right.
in her excitement for reading this, she skipped over the mobile phone bill. See, we've been more in detail this month. We've added a few costs that we seem to have missed out on the previous ones. So how much is my phone bill?
Your phone bill is 300 pesos.
300 pesos for the month.
Yeah.
Which is, what is that?
That's $5.17.
And what is that in pounds? £4. Now, I'm with Globe. Ellen is you're with Ditto, aren't you?
Yeah, Ditto.
Ditto, she's with a different one. Basically, I top up twice a month. And I vary on the packages that I use. Up until last month, I was using one which was 199 pesos, which basically gave me unlimited calls. I don't know, about 10 or 15 gigabytes. I never use the gigabytes. You just don't, because you use your house phone. And it gave me unlimited calls and texts. But this month I've economised, and I've gone down to a different one, which is 150 pesos every 2 weeks. And that is, it basically, I get the unlimited texts, I get unlimited calls, but I get less data because I'm just not using the data, so there's not much point in that. I think I only get 5 gigabytes now. If I end up using 5 gigabytes, I'll just go back to the other one, but I can't see how that will ever happen. How much do you pay for yours?
99 a month.
For the whole month?
And I got 8 gig for that.
Okay. We don't include Ellen's costs, like her phone and that, on hers, because it's my living costs. Okay, well that's cheap, but there you go. But then you're always running out of data when you're using mine, so
It's not true.
Okay.
Only when it expires.
All right, when it expires, okay.
Yeah, I cannot consume the 8 gig because we're at home, we're gonna use the Wi-Fi, so we're gonna just use the data when we're outside.
Okay, well that's her story. But it's good that we got 2 different data packages, because sometimes I can't get Globe when we're out, in a restaurant we won't have it, and usually if I can't get it, she can get it. So she says have a hotspot and I can use hers. And vice versa, sometimes she can't get it and I use mine. But we're such interesting people, we've got such deep conversations. We never use our phones when we're out, do we? We never sit there looking at pictures and things while I'm talking, do we? No. We're too engrossed in each other's beauty to do that kind of thing. Right, what are our grocery costs?
Next, the groceries. That's 9,250. Is this per month?
Yeah.
Okay.
Which is 160
US dollars and 126 pounds.
Why are you surprised by that?
I don't know, it's just too low.
No, it's what it is. It's invariably when I go shopping, we go shopping, worked it out.
I know what you're gonna say. But if I'm gonna go with you, it's gonna make it higher.
Yeah, know what I'm saying? Well, it does make it higher when you come. But I've factored that in, because the reality is, usually when Ellen and I go shopping, because she'll always want to add a few things in, it comes to about 1,400 pesos. That's what it usually comes to. But I'll end up doing another shop, because the trouble with the Philippines, you will find, is when you go shopping, you've got no idea how long the meat has been out, the vegetables have been out, and often things will go off. And so you can't rely on the mince or the pork or the sausages or whatever you buy to be good in 7 days' time. So we will invariably go out, and I'll do a shop with Ellen, and it will come to about, could be as high as 1,500. I think it was 2,000 once, because we can't carry much on the scooter.
Yeah.
But I'll end up doing a top-up shop, usually when she's not there, just to get some extra mince and bits and bobs that have, perishables, and that usually comes to about 400 or 500. So it's very rare that our shopping for the week together comes to less than 2,000, and that week it was coming on average to about 1,600-1,700. But we don't spend much when we go out shopping because we go out virtually every night now. So I mean that's why our grocery shopping is so low. But no, that's right. I double checked that. What have we got next?
Next is your visa, and that's what's this? 970.
Yeah, it works out for the month. That's what it works. It's always a different amount. I go to immigration myself. I used to use a visa agent, but half the costs by going direct to immigration. And that's not me being cheap. It doesn't seem much point using the visa agent anymore, because when I was over in Siggy Hall, they were a lifesaver, because there is no immigration office in Siggy Hall. And the company I used, I will name them if I can remember their name. What's their name? JRC?
JRC.
Yeah, JRC were great, because I just left my passport with them. And they would just keep, every time I needed a new visa, they would pop it in for me. And JRC, if you're living in Siggy Hall, they come over once every 2 weeks to deliver people's passports and take payments, etc. So they would just tell me my visa's about to expire. I'd say, well, put it in for a new one. And, I'd pay them. I'd go to, there's a Napoli Cafe, was a place that they'd come once. I think it was a Friday every 2 weeks.
Do you have the specific time for that?
I think they were there. That's a very good question.
I was just wondering too earlier, how can you know that they're gonna come on that day?
Yeah, I think they were there from like 8 till 12 or something like that. I mean, double check, but that was great, so, and they did the 6-month visas then, so I didn't have to go there much, but the couple of times my visa needed doing, I just went to Napoli Cafe, which was literally across the road from where I lived, Stella's. Yeah. I just gave them the money. My ACR card they put in for it, I collected it from the Napoli Cafe. So when I was in Siggy Hall, they were a godsend. But now, literally, and I'm not trying to lose them any business, JRC are there and they're next to the immigration office. So if I go to JRC, I have to go to JRC, I have to take a seat. They generally see you quicker than the immigration. But I'm filling in the same paperwork, I'm just filling it in, with one of their agents. I give them the payment, and then I come back to JRC to collect it the next day or in the next few days. Well, if I go to immigration, I'm just going next door, I give them the payment, and I have to come back to collect it from them. So there is no more travelling or anything involved now. So, and with JRC, they get you the express service, which costs an extra close to 1,000 pesos, and you have to. You must have the express service with them, and they charge 1,000 pesos for the service. I say it is a pointless service. I don't need the express service. I went down there yesterday, renewed my visa, and I will pick it up next Friday. So I don't use them anymore, and it's half my visa costs. Anyway.
Next is your health insurance, and that's 2,000.
2,000 pesos a month. Which is what in US dollars?
35 US dollars, and in pounds that's 27.
Yeah, it's if you're interested in insurance policy, if you go to the video page, there's a broker there. I've done a couple of insurance videos with him. The coverage works out. It's not a lot of coverage. I think it's basically 1 million pesos if I have an accident, but the advice is that is enough to, get you fixed up in virtually any scenario and then fly back to your home country. If it was a serious one, I would have to, pay out my own pocket. That's fine. It is what it is. It's just a basic insurance policy. Okay.
Next is
and
the
that's with Pacific Cross.
Okay. Next is the gasoline, and that's 1,000 pesos.
$1,000 for gasoline. 1,000 pesos. Good lord, yeah. Right. What is that in USD?
17 USD and 14 pounds.
Yeah, £14. We do quite a lot of driving now, don't we? Well, I do. I mean, I think when did you get the bike?
November 1st week.
November 1st.
Yeah.
And we're coming to the end
No,
of.
not first week of November. Probably in the 5th or on the 7th.
Okay, well, we don't have to be exact, but the point is we're nearly on the 4-month mark. And I don't think the mileage is off, far off, coming up to 2,000. So we're doing about 500 miles a month.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because we were going out a lot more now. You know, we're driving down to the North Point a lot of evenings, and that's like a half-hour drive, half-hour back again. You know, Bacong, when we go into DUMAGUETE, that's about 40. Yeah, so we're doing a lot more mileage than I thought we would, and the bike's great. But that's why. So even doing a lot of driving, I mean, we're not touring the islands, obviously, but it still comes to less than 1,000 pesos, you know, for the month. Okay, because I think it costs to fill that up. I think it costs just under 300 pesos, and that will last you, you know, a good week and a half. Right.
You want the total?
So these are this is going to be the totals of our our set fees. So well, they're not all set fees. Our set fees and our miscellaneous.
So the total is 32,369 pesos.
32,369 pesos. And what is that in USD, my lovely?
560. Gosh, you don't know how to write 5, way.
I don't know how to write 5.
And then in pounds, that's 442.
I was writing 5 before you were born.
It's like a letter S.
What is a 5? Anyway, I wasn't writing 5 before you were born, but not far off it. Okay, and what is that in British pounds?
That's 442.
442 pounds.
Yep.
So that is our set costs, but we have additional costs on that. Our entertainment. Now, we go out a lot, so our entertainment costs are basically more than our actual set fees and living costs, aren't they?
Yeah.
So how much did we spend on entertainment this last month?
Well, not a lot. It's 33,434.
33,000.
434.
And what is that in US dollars?
576.
And what is that in British pounds?
458.
458.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, but the point is, we are spending more on entertainment than we are on the house bills, etc., etc., etc. So that's our main expenditure, really, is our entertainment, because we are going out a lot now, and we are tending to spend more in the restaurants. Ellen's tending to order the most expensive meal on the menu.
That's not true.
Oh well, you have done a few times recently, but the point is that that is fine.
Stop lying.
No, but it's what you're talking about. Oh, it used to be I'll just have like the green curry. Now I want the seafood curry, and I want this.
No, because I just want to try that.
I want to start when I want a dessert. but that's fine. That's not a problem. This is what has shocked me about our living costs this month, because we have several weeks gone out every night bar one, and I've started going to the bowls on a Sunday, and we've been eating in more expensive places, haven't we? I mean, you know, instead we've not been to the eat as much as you like chicken wings, I don't know, in a few weeks' time. We haven't been to any of the real North Point places where it's cheap living much, is it? We've been going more to Latinos and Los Burritos and native resto bar. So that was something that we decided to do consciously, because I didn't like that our living costs were so low. I didn't like the idea of being cheap, because the trouble with someone who's cheap is they don't know they're cheap. You know, someone who's mean generally doesn't know they're mean. So I wanted to spend more, because Ellen has this fantasy. She wants to live in this huge Italian castle, marry an Italian man, and just water the plants. She saw it on a film, so that's the life I want. And I thought, my God, I've got to start spoiling her, or I will lose her. So this wealthy Italian, this billionaire Italian, for some reason is going to want to marry Ellen and get her to water his plants.
Because they have this vineyard.
So because of that, we have started spending more and going out more. But I have been shocked how little it has done to our living costs.
Yeah.
Because what are our total for the month? What was our totals for the month?
That's 65,830 pesos. And in dollars, that's 1,136. In pounds, that's 900.
You're about to turn over, but there's nothing to turn over to. So yeah, our living costs were
65.
just under 66,000 pesos. 1,136 US dollars. 900 pounds. And I genuinely don't know how they're going to go up any more than that, because we're eating, well, they might go up a little bit more, we might eat out a bit more, because I like the idea of doing some vlogs on restaurants here, doing some restaurant reviews. Now if we're doing that, see, Ellen's rolling her eyes, but that means she would get to go to the George and the places that she'd like to go, some of the places she's liked to we've not been before, she might get
But that doesn't mean I want you to film.
Well, I've got to film. I've got well, you can't have both, sweetheart. I never promised you a rose garden, but the reality is, I think we've levelled off now. I can't see them going much higher than that, apart from travelling. We have had a month, a couple of videos back. How much did that come to?
Which one?
The one when we went to Cebu.
Can't remember.
Anyway, I think that was a little bit more than this, but that's because we went travelling. We went to Cebu. So yes, if we go travelling around the Philippines, it's gonna put our month costs up. But we don't have any plans to. There's no.
Oh yeah, it's here.
Okay, yeah.
1,553.
She's very organised. Yeah, our living cost came to just over $1,500 that month when we went to Cebu. Now we're planning on going to Thailand. We're not going to go when we were planning to go now, because we were concerned about the burning season. So I know we're going to stay down south, but I have been to Pattaya and Bangkok in the past, and it's come down. The burning season, the terrible weather has blown down from up in the north, from Laos and Myanmar, and I had terrible streaming eyes for like 3 days. My eyes were stinging and my nose, and you know, that was fine. I was living there at the time. I could accept it, but I don't want that to happen to Ellen on her holiday, because God, she moans enough as it is. If I give her something else to moan about, the holiday will be a disaster.
Oh, yeah.
So I've got to keep it. I want the weather to be good when she goes there. So we put it back, and there is a possibility we might go to Vietnam. Some friends of ours are going, and they asked us to go with them, but I don't know, we haven't decided on that yet, with me, because I quite like the idea of going to Vietnam, but equally I want to show Ellen Thailand, and I think you're edging a bit more towards Thailand, aren't you?
Yeah.
So
set my mind on
yeah,
that.
so we set our mind on Thailand. All right, so we're not going to Vietnam, we're going to Thailand. So that was decided just like that. It's the way we do things in this house. So yeah, you know, that is the reality of our expenditure. It has shocked us how even doing a lot more, our living costs, they've only gone up by about $200, haven't they, on the usual thing?
Yeah.
And that's going out a lot more. But part of that will be the groceries and vegetables and things here aren't that cheap. You know, a lot of people will say in the comments they're going to move to the Philippines and they're going to stay in and cook and they're not going to go out. Well, that's not really going to save you that much, is it? I mean, it doesn't cost that much more to eat out than it does to stay in. Unless you're wise with what you eat. I mean, one of the things I've noticed the last few weeks, I think I've probably mentioned it in some other videos, is some of our American brothers lament at the cost of, you know, pork, beef mince and things like that, you know, to make hamburgers and things. Yeah, that probably is more expensive here than it is in America. It's not really more expensive than it is in Europe, or it depends on the European country, certainly not the UK. I think it's about the same price. But fish and prawns and things like that are much cheaper here. So if you're going to stay in and you're going to cook prawns and fish and things, you'll probably save a lot. If you're going to eat the local vegetables and fruits as opposed to potatoes and carrots and Western things, because they are more expensive than Europe, a lot more expensive. But do you know why that is apparently? Well, you should be reading the comments. One chap, I can't remember who it is, recently said that they'd bought 4 potatoes for £1.60, and they'd said, why are they so expensive? Because they come from China. They're imported. They're not grown in the Philippines yet, apparently. And same with the carrots as well. They're not grown in the Philippines. They're coming from China. Even when you get them in the market, that's why they are
maybe
expensive.
some of it.
I'm not saying 100%, but you know yourself. We go down to that market, we'll go down there, and if we buy carrots and potatoes and things like that, they're a lot more expensive than they are. And we don't really buy them because, it's an effort to... We don't have an oven. We've got a cooker, but it would mean buying gas for it, and I'm too lazy to get that. So we tend to... Everything we cook, we boil or we fry, don't we? But I've forgotten what I was going to say. Rescue me. What was the point of what I was saying? Yeah, now I've got it. Things like tomatoes, things like carrots, things like potatoes, they are extraordinarily expensive in the Philippines. It's mind-blowing why they are, but part of the explanation might be that they come from China. But there are lots of other vegetables, are there not? What was that thing you had the other day? What was it called? Green fingers or something? I'm
not sure. I'm not really sure. That's why I asked you if you know that vegetable.
Well, anyway,
lady fingers. I'm not sure.
I don't know. Anyway, I presume. You bought those. I presume they weren't expensive.
No, they're not.
So they're not, and there are things. I call it in Thailand. We used to call it morning glory, but you call it spinach. It was your water spinach here.
Yeah, water spinach.
Yeah. So there are lots of Filipino things like water spinach, which she does an amazing water spinach. She fries it in garlic and onions. And what do you add? Is it just... Will you tell them?
Soy sauce and then oyster sauce in water, a bit of salt, and that's it. You're just gonna taste a little bit of sugar.
A little bit of sugar. She does like to add sugar to it. She adds sugar to everything. She adds sugar to the meat. She adds sugar... I don't know why, but there you go. Up to her. It tastes nice, but I never really add sugar.
Filipinos love sweet stuff.
You do like sweet stuff.
We love to add sugar in almost every food we cook.
And that's why you lived to such a long age. That's why you're also healthy. Mm-hmm. The life expectancy in the Philippines is 12 years young, 12 years below it is in the United Kingdom. I was looking for a question for my quiz the other day. I was shocked at that. Yeah, 12 years. The average Filipino man passes away at 66 years of age. You don't get your state pension in the UK until I think you're 67, so you wouldn't even make it to retirement age. Anyway, just saying. But that might be something to do with all the sugar and rice. Who knows? But yeah, so I think we've said enough now. The point I was making was, if you are going to come over here and you are going to stay in and you are budgeting to cook your own meals, if you use the Philippine vegetables and the Filipino things that are cheap here, and if you have fish, a lot and things, and chicken's cheaper, isn't it?
Yeah, it's more. I think the chicken is more cheap. No, it's the same. Before, the fish is really cheap than the chicken, but now I don't know. It's maybe because last time I went home and I was in the market looking for fish, I'm seeing like 250 pesos a kilo, 260, and it's more than the price of the chicken per kilo.
Is it dry fish or fresh fish?
Fresh fish. Okay. I don't know. Maybe it's just because of the weather. I don't know.
So here's a question I'll ask you now, Ellen, while you're here for cost of living. Because Ellen's comes from, where do you come from? Because I'm going to say Tanhai and you're going to say that's not Tanhai, it's
Pamplona.
Well,
Pamplona.
Ellen goes home, I don't know, for a night, basically about once a week, isn't it? Or
yeah.
Was it? Yeah. When you go back, do you find that the costs in the market, etc., are cheaper than Dumaguete or more expensive or the same?
I rarely go to the market. It's almost to never.
Okay, well then you're just telling me the prices of the fish in the market.
Yes, because I was like, we don't really have fish here, so sometimes I missed having a fish. That's why I went to look.
Oh, don't say that. It breaks my heart. Am I depriving you of your fish I will go and get my fishing net out and I will get you some fish for I will take you out for fish for dinner tonight. And you will have to order fish wherever we go. We've already decided we're going out for sushi tonight, so that won't be too hard. So yeah, but in general, because I mean you lived there most of your life. When you were living in Tanhai and you were coming down to DUMAGUETE at the weekends or whatever when you were popping in, did you notice, I mean, I know you can't compare the restaurants and that because there aren't really any restaurants in Tanhai.
According to my family, from my sisters or my mother, my auntie, they're the same.
Same price?
Same price, yeah.
So basically the prices in DUMAGUETE, which is a city, aren't any more expensive than living in the provinces where Ellen did. Because a lot of people will say, I mean, I'm no expert on this, I'm just asking a question. But a lot of people will say, my old mate Simon, I'm not saying he's wrong, is subscribed from Australia, how much cheaper it is in the provinces. And I've no reason to doubt him. I'm sure you're right, mate. But from what Ellen's just saying, it's not cheaper. It's not cheaper in terms of, but who knows? Who knows? So anyway, there you go. We've said enough. That's our living costs. We're genuinely surprised. Are you as surprised as I am, Ellen?
Not really.
Not really. You see, I'm naive. Ellen's streetwise. She knows the way. Nothing surprises her, apart from everything. There we go. Is there anything you would like to add to this cost of living video?
No.
Are you sure? Because I've had comments saying, let her talk, let her talk. Now is the floor. You've got the floor. You talk, Ellen. You get off what you want to say.
No, I don't have any idea. I don't have any thoughts or ideas to share with you guys.
Really?
Yeah.
And yet, the second that I switch the camera off, she'll say, why did you say that? Why did you do that? Why didn't you mention this? Now's your chance. Because if you don't say anything, the second we switch the camera off, I'm going to say, no, you should have said it before. You should have pulled me up. You had your chance.
No, you're not going to hear a word from me, I promise.
Oh, she's going to sulk now. She's going temper. I'm not going to hear anything from her. There you go. I'm going to keep talking then, because that way I don't have anything. I don't know. Anyway, well, hopefully you liked the video. If you did, it would be fantastic if you liked it. It would be fantastic if you subscribed. What would it mean to you if they subscribed, Ellen?
Not to me, but to you, it really means a lot to you.
No, they don't want to please me. They want to please you. So tell them how pleased you would be, how delighted you would be if they subscribed.
I will be very, very happy if you subscribe.
There you go. You've got to make her happy. She's miserable all the time. If you could just cheer her up, with a subscription, it would make us very happy. It would make her very happy.
Me miserable.
And if she was happy, I'm happy. It's the way life works. But whether you subscribe or don't, whether you like the video or don't, wherever you are, whatever you're doing,
stay safe, be lucky.
There you go. Thanks for watching.